pulling videos, Nina's video, because like we said, when we show you the problem, we will always take you to the solution. There is a solution. We are not lamenting. We are breaking it down. We break the problem down for you. So you will not have an excuse to say, I didn't know. My people say, if you allow this, you refuse to stay, and you here and you stay there, don't say it's somebody else that did it. We cannot Federation of Nigeria. This is Nina's title, because Nina has a lot of videos and articles. He said the urgent imperative of constitutional reconstruction. If we are going to remain as one political entity, like I hear Soludo say, how do you say it? I'm an unrepentant federalist or what? We don't know that.
We'll play the video.
What you have is not federal system in Nigeria. And that's the problem we have with these so-called doctors, professors, and everything. They have the degree they get. They can apply it to solve physical problems. When they see truth, they start reasoning as if in a true federal system, Abuja will not be the one telling you what to do in your locality, especially when you have a threat like Fulani killers killing your people. It is not how it's done. If you come to America, you will see a true federal system. Each state is practicing, like kind of independent. And they have their own to protect their borders and everything. Of course, we're not talking about state in Nigeria, because America own is understandable because everybody is a foreigner. They came, chased out the indigenous people, took it over so they can afford to come from different states and do whatever they did. Our own is different because we are indigenous to the land and we still have our borders. Ishekiri, they know their land. Igbo, Yoruba, Efik, all of them know their land. Sorry, are we able to put the video? I'm just waiting for us to put it. We know our lands and we know our borders. We know our name. Our ethnic nationality is not just a language. I hear some people coming up with some narrative that very sickening. It's beyond a language. We have a culture, we have tradition, spirituality, bank, financial system, social system. We had everything before the colonial monsters came. So please stop reducing us to tribes. We are not tribes. We are nations. Nigeria, to say the least, is supposed to be an entity made up of micro nations, not even micro nations, mega nations. There's no micro, nothing. There's nothing micro about Yoruba nation. A nation of over 60 million people cannot be a micro. So please stop belittling us. We are not tribes. We are nations that can exist fully on their own. And we were existing on our own before these evil monsters came. We must reconstruct Nigeria. We must renegotiate the union. Let's listen to what Nina is saying.
From the Secretariat of Ninas, it is one thing to complain, raise alarm, make suggestions for how, just lament. It's another to have a strategic plan for how to solve the problem. Everybody has been talking about the constitution that has to be done away with. Everybody has been talking about restructuring. Everybody has been talking about even the ones that say they want to leave the union. The ones they say they want referendum now. Do a nation, Biafra nation, resource control. All those things that you want changed from what Nigeria is, offering you as at now. How will it be done? And we've heard people who probably hadn't paid enough attention to what Nina is saying, from that constitutional force majeure, anybody who has education, anybody who can read and write, who has not read that proclamation, is shortchanging himself or herself. We plead with you, because it could mean life or death for you or people very close to you, that you read to know, or that you did not read and therefore did not know. That constitutional force majeure of December 16th, 2020, provided an elaborate framework for engaging all of that reconstruction that must now happen, that have become imperative. Whether you want outright exit from the union of death Nigeria has become for everybody, or you want a return to the autonomy levels agreed at Lancaster House, that's regional autonomy, or you want to control your resources and your environment. We hail the jaw for coming out as clearly as they came out the other day. And we rebuke the Obasanjo that was trying to rebuke them for speaking up. Anything you want, the way and means of getting it done is different from sentiment and lamentations. And therefore, in that constitutional force majeure proclamation of December 16 by NINAS 2020, we had adopted and incorporated a document titled Open Memorandum to President Muhammad Buhari on the restructuring debate from the Alliance, dated November 16, 2018. Guardian newspaper reported on it on November 18, 2020. You can 2018. Sorry, 2 days. We wrote it out on the 16th, and it was in Guardian newspaper on the 18th. We can very easily check that out. And what was it? It is in that open memo on the restructuring debate from the NINAS Alliance, addressed directly to the president, who went to France in that period. He went to Paris to say, all these people who are looking for one adjustment or the other in the constitution, they don't seem to know what they are looking for or how it can be attained. Let them bring it. So he went pretending, and I use the word pretend advisedly, because he was part of the Fulani delegation that came to Pronaco 2005-2006. He understands exactly what we're talking about. That was why they put restructuring in their manifesto. And so now nobody seems to know how to do it. But we also took time to detail step by step, start to finish, how it can be undertaken. We have acquired a body of knowledge on this subject matter, coming from NADECO to the Pronaco that took 2 years to bring all the nationalities together to look at the options available to us. And moving on to the MNN that took this constitution to court in 2007 to say we didn't make it, and all of the things that led to the Solomon Assembly, the joint multi-regional actions that became the Solomon Assemblies that we saw in Port Harcourt in April of 2015, in Ibadan in September of 2017, and in Makurdi in July of 2018. Those processes have become a body of knowledge sufficient to solve this problem that is looking intractable. And so that open memo is simply, to identify the two-step procedure. Anybody who is talking about calling national conference, or Basojo called national conference, Jonathan called national conference, the reason those conferences didn't work was because the modalities were wrong. If you call another conference today to say, oh, come, let us all reason again, you're going to fail as woefully, even more woefully. What needs to be done is in 2 stages. That is why we put those 5 points of a proposition in our proclamation. Anybody who will read those 5 points will see exactly how we can come to those 2 stages. We must accept that that constitution we have now cannot carry us anywhere. We must accept that it has to go. We must accept that we can't go to another election under it, so that we can put a time frame. Otherwise, we'll be at this discussion under 10 years, and people will be dying in millions. And so we come down to that open memo we adopted and incorporated it in that December 16 proclamation of 2020, so that in one hand we had stated clearly what the problem is and what the solution should be. On the other hand, by adopting that open memorandum on the restructuring debate from this alliance, we also placed on the table a step-by-step articulation of how to undertake that fundamental reconstruction that we can no longer postpone. Let nobody from after this broadcast, let nobody come saying we don't know what to do or how to do it. We challenge those who may want to say so to go to the website of NINAS to read that open memo. You can even Google it, open memorandum to President Muhammad Buhari on the restructuring debate from this alliance. And then you will see exactly what needs to be done to come to the restructuring that you want, to come to the referendum that you've been seeking. If we go in this sequence, we can guarantee that these problems will be solved and everybody in self-determination will get to where they want to go. Those who want 100% autonomy can then vote in that referendum to be by themselves. Those who are satisfied with 80% autonomy can vote in that referendum. But we must get to the point, the threshold of transitioning, where those choices will be made, because what the campaign we are leading is to restore the sovereignty and therefore the self-determination rights of the constituent components of Nigeria without exception of any section. All the nationalities, big or small, will agree among themselves how they want, in what formations they want to federate. Those who want to relate will stay together. Those who don't want to relate will say so by making maps that will exclude other people. But the whole thing is to accept now that we must go to taking that decision on how we want to live. The decision we took in 1960 at Lancaster House has been overtaken, and that is what we have to resolve now. If we do not act quickly enough to resolve it together, those who are being killed across the Middle Belt and the South, those whose future have been ruined, who are roaming all over the world, young people who are fleeing from Nigeria, I tell you, the right to self-determination, which is what they seek now, whether they are asking for restructuring or they are asking for Oodua Republic or Biafra Republic or whatever it is, or resource control, all of those things are issues of self-determination arising from the constitutional grievances imposed by the unitary constitutional arrangements. They are all connected. They're just a matter of degree of autonomy that will be acceptable to them. The process, the procedure by which that choice has to be made is what NINAS has placed on the table. Anybody who is not already a part of it, anybody who is not already a part of the campaign to shut down the journey to another election under the 1999 Constitution is a part of the problem. Silence is not golden here. Silence is complicity. Tribute to Bishop Tutu, who told the whole world that keeping silent in the face of a moral question is support for the evil.
Yeah.
Let us stand up now and join in insisting that we should go and that we must solve this problem now, other than waiting for it to consume everybody. The process for doing it is clearly articulated in that open memo. A word is enough for the wise.
Thank you, Brother Tony. We don't have any wise men and women left, but they will hear when they fully loaded AK-47 arrives at their front door. Then it will begin to make sense. It will begin to they will begin to make sense of what they are being told. So hopefully, as we are watching, your governor, your common sense governor, endorsed Tinubu for 2027. We're telling you guys, these people are not for us. I don't care how much PhD they hold. I don't care how much they pretend like they know. They're just like Democrats here. They don't know how to handle anything. They are just all over the place, not being able to provide solutions to the people that they claim that they love. They can help you. Their children don't even live in the freaking environment. They already transported all their family members outside the place because they know that it's not stable. Why are we listening to these people? They will come and tell you, oh, I believe in who I am. I wear a quete. I wear one watch. I wear one shoe. And you're looking at them. The decision that they're making is impacting you in a negative manner. And we are asking, how long are we going to listen to these people that have demonstrated over and over and over again that they don't even have what we are asking them to give us? That's another thing we need to come to terms with. They lack the capacity to provide these things, and yet we are giving them time, we are giving them effort, we are giving them accolade for them to continue to take us on a loop to nowhere, a loop to our damnation. Quite disheartening. Go ahead, sister. Let me see what else I need to pull up.
So we're saying that under further national elections, under the 1999 Constitution, is endorsement of the Fulani title deeds and a facilitation of the Fulani conquest agenda. Where we are now, we are not pleading or begging or lamenting because the motion has begun. The land, when you hear sovereignty, sovereignty is about people and the land. The only thing that gives you access to the land, because the land upon which Nigeria, the devilish Nigeria was constructed, they are ancestral homes that belong to distinct peoples. And those people are still alive and in existence. No matter how long the politicians lie to themselves in their own group, doing what they do, which is all about themselves and their families. When they finish, they hand over to their children, to their sons. That is what is going on. But we are saying, you, the ethnic nationalities, you have a right today to do the right thing. We must halt the journey to 2027 general elections. Like my sister said, Soludo has already endorsed Tinubu for 2027. All of them. So what you have is one unitary system. He just wants to return. And if you continue to allow 1999 Constitution to be in place, Tinubu will return. All he wants is to return. And when he finishes, he will give his son and his wife. And then when they finish, they give to their grandchildren and they continue. Why Fulani eliminate you and your children? The die is cast. So you are the one to decide what to do. We told you that the colonial monsters have 3 tools: fear, ignorance, and military terror. Fear and ignorance is true religion. That's why religion is a major tool in the hands of the colonial monsters. You must embrace this. Embrace this. It is what it is. Like from Nina's secretariat, he said, coming from slave trade, in which Africans were merchandise, Europe came to Africa with Christianity to advance their conquest and colonial agenda. It is what it is.
It is.
Whether you're a priest, a father, or whatever, this is a fact on the table. And you go and read history, you will get it. No need to add sentiment, because when we say some of these things, people will think that we're saying that people should go back and worship trees and everything. That means you are even embracing the lies of the colonial monsters, because our people were not some of our people. In all the world, there were people that were worshiping certain things and people that were worshiping God, the creator. It was like that all over the world. Christianity did not bring the knowledge of God to earth. It didn't. People knew God and were moving with God in their own quiet, private place. Christianity just made religion a business.
It's a merchandise.
It's a merchandise. The same thing with Islam. So these institutions made religion a business and began to promote it, kill people, destroy people's culture and tradition to impose whatever it is they were bringing. It's a fact. Go and study it. And that's why I say, if you have not gone to study these things, please don't come and start holding public opinions. Don't come and start holding public conversation. It doesn't make sense, because you're talking from the point of ignorance. So why that is happening with Europe and Christianity, Arabs were coming, the same slave trade. with Africans as merchandise. They came with Islam to advance their conquest and colonization agenda. It's just two faiths. One is this, one is that. But they're partners. In other words, those two foreign invaders, Europeans and Arabs, erected the religious framework, Christianity and Islam, sadly, to conquer and colonize Africa, confiscating their sovereignty so that they can take their resources. If you have heard this, what are you going to do as an ethnic person? You see, whether you hate the people from your ethnic nationality as an individual, that's not the discussion here. Because we know some of you, we see on social media, you hate your own people actually because they've done one thing to you and your family. We understand that. And we're not underrating whatever they did to you. But that is not what we're discussing. What we are discussing is about community well-being, a whole nation. The lands in Nigeria belong to peoples, the indigenous peoples. And you cannot have any unity or progress except justice is done by giving them back their land and their resources. Whether they are called Efik, Ijo, Yoruba, Igbo, whatever name they come with, it's not just a language. It is a people with culture, tradition, spirituality, full existence. They were conquered and their lands stolen. Now, what you're seeing, the bloodshed you're seeing, is that they are being eliminated and unalived so that nobody will be alive to claim that land again. And we're saying the two criminal gangs, Fulani and Europeans, Britain, are on this together. Whether you're seeing Bill Gates or you're seeing what all these are politicians, is the same project. So please, let's not be naive. Let's not be gullible. Let's understand it so that when we talk about reconstruction, renegotiation, it will make sense to you. And another thing is that as an individual, do not allow your people, you and your people, to be divided again along political lines or religious lines, because you have seen that this religion is false, is fake. So do not begin to come together and organize yourselves. The only thing putting you together is your ethnic nationality. It's not the same thing as political division and religious division. That is your identity, who you are. That's how you have sovereignty. You have ownership to your land. I'm an Igbo woman because I came from Igbo land. I'm not an Igbo woman because I speak Igbo. Anybody can speak any language. If you trace my origin, my identity, you will get to a family, a kindred, a clan, a community, a life. Well, and if I appear there, they will identify me as their own. If I just call my last name, my maiden name, from the door of the town, they will take me to my house, even if I was lost. If the only thing I could remember is my last name, my father's name, if I mention it just at the beginning of the town, I won't be lost anymore. They will take me to they will identify me, take me to my father's compound, and my father's people will recognize me. If you can do DNA, we can get ourselves where we are situated. So we don't need to fight and quarrel. All we need to do is reorganize how we want to live in that space so that everybody will be taken care of. Thank you. So we're sorry that it took time to break this down because we hear some things on social media. We want to make it clear so that people understand what exactly we're saying and it will be clear. So we must renegotiate the union if we must.